edition of the primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. Paul Atanganji, Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, ends his visit to the southwest region of Cameroon today. He urged chiefs to take their responsibility and guarantee the safe return of children and youths that are so far taking refuge in bushes as a result of the escalating violence in the two Anglophone regions of Cameroon. In this newscast, we tell you how in Kumba he brokered a deal with bike riders whose activities were suspended by the same minister. He's going to be telling them to expose the hidden hands behind series of attacks in the two Anglophone regions of Cameroon recently. Paul Atanganji that equally urged parents to send their children to school. That is our lone headline for tonight. We shall be right back with the details. Stay with us. Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for joining us in this edition of the primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. The Minister of Territorial Administration has been touring some regions across the national territory. He was in the northwest region of Cameroon shortly after he was appointed. Thereafter, he was in the west region, and now he is in the southwest region. He began his visit to the region. That was yesterday. He was in Boya. Thereafter, he moved to Kumba, where he was speaking to bike riders' parents. As far as the situation rocking the two Anglophone regions of the country is concerned, in Boya, he said that he is the bearer of the message of peace from the President of the Republic of Cameroon to the people of the entire region. He equally said that peace cannot return through burning, violence and destruction of property. Derek Jato tells us more in the following report.
On the historic Mungo Bridge, Minister Atanganji Paul is ushered by security forces into the southwest region. As he climbed down on the soil of the southwest for the first time as Minister of Territorial Administration, Minister Atanganji Paul went straight to the southwest governor's office, where he held a series of meetings with the senior divisional officers of the region, divisional officers of Fako Division, and forces of law and order. The absence of the senior divisional officers of Manu and Lebialem divisions, where sporadic attacks and killings are still reported, will surely indicate to the territorial boss the unstable nature of the southwest. It was after the in-camera meeting that Minister Atanganji Paul revealed that he came to the southwest region on a peace mission sent by President Paul Biya.
The head of state has also asked me to thank the forces of law and order and all the administrative authorities for their professionalism, because since the disturbances started, they have been able to manage the situation and everything is under control. Now we will discuss with all the stakeholders, the traditional leaders, the motorbike riders, the traders, and I think at the end of the day, you see with me that we have to bring peace and serenity.
But strive towards that peace must be done according to state institutions.
And if the ongoing dialogue has any meaning, it should be well understood that it can only be done within the framework of state institutions. The head of state said it during the end of the year message, and people should understand that when things are done properly, in total respect of state institutions, then we can move ahead. But as for now, I can tell you that the region is peaceful.
Though communicated at short notice, Ekima Patrick Esumge of the Buya Council interpreted the turnout of the Buya people to welcome the Cameroon Minister of Territorial Administration as a positive step towards stability.
We see in him someone who goes across elitism. We see in him a true Cameroonian, and so the expression of the people of Buya, despite the very short notice of his arrival here, you see the enthusiasm, you will see the turnout. It justifies the state of mind of the people. And I think it is often said, the words of the people are the words of God. We are quite optimistic that he's going to succeed in his mission.
From Boya, the Cameroon Minister of Territorial Administration left for Kumba, chief town of Meme Division.
That was the first phase of the visit of the Minister of Territorial Administration to the southwest region of Cameroon yesterday in Kumba. He told motorbike riders to be law-abiding and expose the hidden hands behind the series of attacks perpetrated in the English-speaking parts of Cameroon. This is after the motorbike riders called on the government of Cameroon to lift the ban placed on their activities recently. Let's have the details once again with Derek Jato, who was with the minister in Kumba, Meme division of the Southwest region of Cameroon.
The Cameroon Minister of Territorial Administration is visiting Kumba 2 days after another death was reported here.
We are confused. Since it started, now 3 years, we don't know when it will stop. One, I mean them, the village side, they're looking to stay now presently. All has they down.
We are all confused in this crisis. Our mothers, our fathers, and other relatives are hiding in bushes. People have been killed. Our houses destroyed. And every day people are dying here in Kumba. This is not a good sign for Cameroon. Even us bikers, we don't longer go to the farm because of insecurity. Cocoa farmers will not carry out their activities this year.
No man will go from the year. We drive, they say, make we no get peace. Although the president as a parent come from Basso.
Today our father, the minister, is here. We are begging him to end this crisis. Sources say over 20,000 commercial motorbikers are in Meme division, and some of them gave us reasons why they have mobilized to welcome Minister Atanganji Paul. We got his communique suspending commercial motorbikers, and we came out today to show how dependent we are on our commercial motorbike activity. And for the minister to withdraw his decision, because we can't do without our commercial motorbike activity here in Kumba. It is our lone source of income. Reason why we came out to welcome him. In response, Minister Atanganji Paul explained to the Kumba commercial motorbikers why he suspended the activity.
We decided to suspend the activities because most of all the bad things happening around the region, raping, stealing, killing, were done with the promotion of some of them.
And that he came for things to be ameliorated in the sector. At the end of the meeting, the Cameroon Minister of Territorial Administration gave some work tools to the commercial motorbikers in Kumba, promising them more. Spotted with the Minister of Territorial Administration on many occasions was Mr. Tabot Lawson, the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement Section President for Meme 1A, who later revealed what he told the Cameroon Minister of Territorial Administration on the Anglophone crisis.
I was happy because the minister gave me I was able to explain to him in detail the progress we're having. And I spoke of those who are homeless in Papua and other places. All those places, houses that have been made here. And he has mentioned of that. He had made mention of those things and said that the state is going to do something to ameliorate the situation. I think I'm grateful. We look forward to the government doing that as he has promised. He's the Minister of Interior. That is his right. That is his domain.
The Meme people now are waiting on how it will be done.
That is Derek Jato, the reporting now. The minister met the people of Kumba to understand that he is aware of the rate of school boycott in the region and in the two Anglophone regions of Cameroon. He urged parents to send their children to school, and the symbolic holding of the peace plant, according to observers, means that the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, is reconciling with the people of the English-speaking parts of Cameroon after a few months ago that he had earlier indicated that there is no Anglophone problem. Joining us live tonight, we are going to be having a reporter who has always been on the ground, Derek Jato. Derek, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Talking Point.
The pleasure is mine.
We are happy to have you tonight. You've been on the ground since this crisis escalated in the two Anglophone regions of the country. You were equally on the field yesterday with the Minister of Territorial Administration, who was in Boya. He visited other localities and also in Kumba. You trailed his convoy. What was your observation, apart from what televiewers have been able to see tonight? What was the reaction of inhabitants in Boya, like Kumba, in the Fakwa and Meme divisions respectively?
Yes, before you know the coming of the territorial Minister of Territorial Administration, of course, the first visit to the Southwest region, many have it that it was a surprising one, or it was a surprise one. But assessing the number of people that turned out, especially in a place like Buea, some observers are concluding that it was a positive mark, an indication that people, despite the upheavals, people came out to welcome their own minister, the first Anglophone to be specific to ever occupy such a position. And in Kumba, before you know, bike riders or commercial bikers, they are often being seen in the society as outcasts, those who are not mature enough to fit into the society. Especially given that the activities were suspended recently. Yes. So when they saw the Cameroon Minister of Territorial Administration talking the same language with them, he even went down talking, that's using the pidgin language, you know, that's the popular language being used among them. They felt belong. That's the first thing I observed. They felt belong, and the Kumba commercial motorbikers, they welcomed the minister, but they told us that, or were on the field, that their motive of coming to welcome the minister was to tell the minister to withdraw his decision or his statement, because they can't do with that their commercial motorbike activities. Taking into consideration, that there are over 22,000 commercial motorbikes in Kumba. So at the end of the day, they were positive. That that the activities have really been paralyzed as a result of the decision by the government to suspend the activities of motorbike riders. Yes, people, from what I gathered on the ground, the commercial motorbikers said they cannot do with that. So it was a one-way type of a decision, because they said even if the minister had stood his ground, they could not have respect that, because they depend on that. That's their lone source of income, except it was if the minister had said they will be not turning back, it could have been a disguised type of a suicide mission. So they are happy at the end of the day that the minister had to say it was just for precautionary motive. Now, holding peace plans, moving around with the people that you say welcomed them, we of course know how the atmosphere was between the minister, who is now the Minister of Territorial Administration, and some English-speaking Cameroonians. What did you retain as a journalist who is on the field? As an African, first of all, a peace plan is much farther, or even go beyond the physical plan that you're seeing. It is it's some sort of a moment for reconciliation, and let the negative rest, and let's forge ahead despite all odds. But people, some critics on their part said holding the peace plan is not enough. So they have the impression that his actions were not really genuine. Yes, some school of thought. Because in Bamenda, some school of thoughts, like you said, were demanding for reconciliation, like apology from the minister, who had earlier indicated several months ago that there is no Anglophone problem. But many were taken by surprise yesterday when he said that the problem cannot be solved through burning, destruction of properties, raping and looting. What was that message? Who was that message targeting? If I may find out from you. We are talking about, you know, when the minister met with commercial motorbikers one-on-one in Kumba, he told them that he suspended that activity, who came up with that decision because a lot of atrocities have been happening lately, and some of which are often carried out in complicity with motorbikers. So he thought that suspending them would be a way to curb some of the upheavals that have been going on. And attacks. But for coming back to your question, saying that the president has solved 90% of the Anglophone problem, a problem he had earlier said doesn't exist. You know, the Southwest people, they are people that are very educated. Some started analyzing it, that the Minister of Territorial Administration is coming back to his senses to know that his own people had this problem. But again, they said there's a better way to say it, rather than holding on a peace plan. You did mention peace plan a while ago. He has to go beyond that. Beyond that. Derek Jato, you have been on the ground since this crisis started, like I indicated. You have even gone to Nigeria. You were with the Aya Foundation
to look at the situation of Anglophone English-speaking refugees that have escaped violence, destruction of properties, burning of houses from different localities in the two Anglophone regions to Nigeria. Now, the minister yesterday was talking about the fact that there is need today actually for chiefs in the region to play their role, take their responsibility and ensure that those that have escaped to bushes should safely return to their various localities, even though we are not sure how safe these localities are. It is the first time, of course, he said that in Bamenda, that the government is actually talking about fleeing Anglophone Cameroonians, though he was not specific as to whether it is the situation of refugees that are in neighboring Nigeria. Do you think that it could somehow be consoling to those who are now wallowing in pains, hunger in Nigeria, the declarations of the minister?
He is the minister of the territory. He could be called the landlord. That is his territory. If he's not comfortable that part of his people are not on his territory and that bothers him, it was but normal that such a
though
statement,
he didn't say it clearly that
yes, though he did not say it, but he said got him that was in front of the Southwest Governor's office after the first meeting. He said people that are elsewhere. You know, he sometimes sounds like a diplomat. Elsewhere, we know where they are. You did mention, I've been in Nigeria, and it is a life-threatening situation over there with the Aya Foundation, a wonderful foundation because of the courage they took to go as far as Nigeria. But coming back to the minister now, this is a statement that even the chiefs that he is calling on them to take up their responsibility, they have been crying for such a platform to let the authorities come up openly to tell the people that are in bushes that they should come home and continue their activities normally and that they are safe. Remember, for you, it is not best to leave your home, your properties and your investment, and you pretend that wherever you are is safe. It can never be safe. But sometimes you feel that being where you are, though it's not safe, but being alive is the ultimate. So if the minister meant what he said, it's consoling.
It's consoling, especially to the refugees. Now, Derijato, one final question. You visited Equinoxe television today and you were recognized for your efforts on the ground. You were recognized by the general manager of Equinoxe television. What do you have to say? What is your reaction for your remarkable works that you have been doing on the ground? You were recognized and distinguished by the management of Equinoxe television. What is your reaction?
Well, I will say here that it's not me. What I'm doing is like a football, which is a collective type of a game. You can play alone. First of all, I would thank the English decks for the collaborativeness and the support and the courage, especially you, that they have been giving me. Secondly, I would thank the Director General of Equinoxe, Mr. Sovereign Chunke, for being so observant. Like we did mention, it has not been all bed of roses, you know, being on the ground at the center of it all. I remember when I went to Nigeria, somebody called me that you Derek Jato, and he even showed me my images of 2017 in Ekona. I was marveled. It showed that people are observing what they're doing, and you just need to keep up doing what you're doing. I was taken aback when I was recognized. Of course, it is my first award with first prize ever in this profession. So it is a gift down to God.
Thank you, of course, so much, Derek Dato. You keep your ears on the ground, and we are hoping that we'll be having day-to-day updates as far as the situation in the two Anglophone regions of Cameroon is concerned. Now, Equinoxe Television is breaking new grounds for greater results. Management has acquired new equipment of high technology for a better coverage of national and international happenings. One of such equipment is this high technology outdoor broadcast vans, a well-equipped van for live broadcast and other outdoor productions. They were displayed to the workers, reporters, as well as technicians and the entire management of Equinoxe Radio and Television. That was today, barely few minutes ago, at the Carrefour Equinoxe in Mobibona Kwamong here in Akwa Douala. You can see how it was a crowd-pulling event here in Akwa, in the economic capital, Douala. In the following except we are going to be having the reaction of the general manager of Equinoxe Radio and Television, Severin Chunko, Chunke and the editor-in-chief of Equinoxe Radio and Television, Eric Kwamo. Let's hear them in the following excerpts.
This huge investment is to permit our journalists to go forward, to move forward, and to be able to go beyond the image. We have a huge event in our country in 2019, and Equinoxe Television will be part of this event. That's why we come out with this huge investment. It's a multimedia car who can be operated by satellite, by IP, and by faisceau hertzien. And this is another step for our development, and we want to thank all our collaborators who are part of this adventure.
As far as the news department is concerned, you know 2018 is a year of challenges. Politically, we will be covering some elections. At the level of sport, we will be hosting the African Cup of Nations in the upcoming month, and of course we have to be deployed on the field of the World Cup. So when you take into consideration these main challenges for the year, you see that the stakes are high and the expectations also, because we need to be first on the news and every bit across the national territory, and that is why it is necessary for us to have such an equipment which is going to enable us to respond energically to the challenges and go beyond the images to, you know, give the facts to our televiewers.
The General Manager of Equinoxe Television and Radio, Severin Chunke, and the Editor-in-Chief of Equinoxe Television, Eric Kwamo, they are speaking respectively following the presentation of the new equipment of high technology for a better coverage of national and international happenings. We, of course, will be coming back to that in our subsequent newscast. We are now going to talk about something else. The Constitutional Council that now has less than 2 weeks to come up with the final results of the senatorial election that took place across the national territory on the 25th of March 2018. The members of the Vote Counting Commission were installed yesterday into their functions. There were 21 of them. They have barely 5 days to present their various reports to the Constitutional Council for the final proclamation of the results. The members of the commission were installed yesterday during a ceremony presided over by the President of the Constitutional Council, Innocent, as it tells us more in this report.
All 21 members making up the National Commission for the final counting of votes have been officially installed into their functions. They were installed in Yaoundé Tuesday by the President of the Constitutional Council, Clément Atangana.
Président, Monsieur Esombe Emile, Monsieur Ataba Omar.
The Emile Esombe Commission will count votes of the March 25th, 2018 senatorial election. While installing them, Clément Atangana urged the members to brandish dignity, discipline, impartiality, and honesty as they execute their duties. Those installed include 2 magistrates appointed by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, 5 representatives of the administration appointed by the Minister of Territorial Administration, 5 members of ELECAM appointed by the Director General of Elections Cameroon, and lastly 9 representatives of political parties that competed in the senatorial election. The commission has 3 days according to the law to submit the results to the Constitutional Council for examination before it is finally published in not more than 15 days.
We now come back to these difficulties faced by craftsmen here in the economic capital Douala after the President of the Republic of Cameroon was instead valorizing the sector in China during his visit to the country recently. Craftsmen in the economic capital Douala that have cited lack of government support and discrimination as some of the challenges plaguing the sector. Emerencia Konlak tells us more in this report.
The President of the Republic of Cameroon has returned to the country after his state visit in China. One of the highlights of President Paul Biya's mission to the country of President Xi Jinping was his visit to the headquarters of the International Research Network and Industry specialized in the production of handmade products. This gesture by the head of state has been described as an embarrassment by actors of the craft industry in Cameroon. Dealers in work of art at the craft center in Douala have complained of neglect by government. Numendem Antoine, one of the craftsmen, has said that foreign products excel more in local markets than homemade goods.
At first, there were no Europeans, but today we find Chinese products everywhere, and Cameroonians don't buy from their brothers, but prefer to buy from foreigners.
According to Frederick Jonas, another craftsman at the Douala Craft Center, they are in need of equipment to boost quality and productivity. Actors of the craft industry thereby call on the government to come in aid to promote their industry.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television. Viewers, we thank you so much for joining us. Wishing you a blessed stay in the company of our programs. Until we meet again, goodbye.